guys, we
Hi.
are Midgards coming to you not live.
Not live.
We'll be putting this up on our YouTube page. Happy to see you here. Right now we'll be introducing our newest member, Mike. Hello, Mike.
Sup? Sup?
We are missing a couple people today, but that's just going to be kind of how it is, because everybody's schedules don't always line up, and we just do the best we can.
I mean, they never add up.
They never add up. It's really lucky that we're even here today.
It's true.
So then this way will be a good time for us just to get to know Mike a little bit, introduce him to you as well. We already have the one intro video kind of about us. So then we'll start it off with Mike. How long have you been a practicing heathen?
Close to almost a year now.
Okay.
It's almost been a year. It'll be a year officially in March.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then what got you mostly into it? So a year ago, was there something that happened or something that just like changed your life?
It was sort of the tipping point. I mean, I've
Okay.
always been interested in my Scandinavian heritage, which is close to 50% of it. The rest is like Northern Scottish, which is basically the same
Pigs and
thing.
Vikings.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. But I actually dated a girl who, thankfully, we broke up. It wasn't a good relationship.
Mm.
But she was practicing asatru.
Okay.
And she, actually got me into the whole, this is a legitimate thing. I've always felt sort of a calling towards the general air of paganism.
Mm-hmm.
But, never had any names to put towards anything, never had any, ways of doing anything. But she sort of, tipped the point. It was just this is a thing. And it just spoke to me.
And that's what we do here at the Well. At first, of course, with Mike, it was just us teaching him something. Oh, here's some information for books to read. Here's some information on how to meet up with people, and then it just ended up that we just vibe really well. So when you
Renaissance Fair is a thing.
right, exactly. When you find family, when there's that click, there's no reason to fight it.
No.
So we joined the kindred. We're so happy to have him.
We put him through a little bit of hell,
Oh,
because
yeah.
initiation rites are so great.
So public speaking, woo!
So then, as you came into the community, what was your first impression of the community?
It was a little exclusive,
Mm-hmm.
honestly. You guys are the exception, but even you guys had you had to do initiation rites. You had to do so many things to show that you're committed to the group.
And that you get along with us, and we're not just welcoming in some random person.
Of course. But you look at if I can name other kindreds.
I wouldn't yet.
Okay, no, we won't. Certain study groups that I looked into, sort of proved what I was thinking at the time. It was just this is kind of not elitist by any means.
We discussed chips on shoulders.
Yeah.
I think is the word you used.
Chips on shoulders, that's a fantastic way of putting it. There's a lot of that in the community, which, it's okay. You can get that with any community.
Yeah.
But, when you find your niche, you gotta stick with it.
Right, and all these other kindreds in the community of the Kansas City area, they have their really good points. There's a lot of them that are very strong-willed,
Oh,
a lot of them that
absolutely.
are so intelligent, but yes, a lot of the times it does come off as this very, very either folkish, sadly a lot of the times, or so elitist, do as I say, chieftain status that it doesn't vibe. It is nearly 2020, it is now 2018,
Right.
We are in this new age. We cannot think in a way that the old ancestors would not agree on a fact of voting, because that's what they had in the first place.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't until way later when things got really big and all this power started happening that we had the whole Jarl system and kings.
Yeah. And we're not to that size yet.
Right.
Oh,
We're
absolutely
still
not.
very, in the grand scheme of things, very, very small.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
Even in the overarching just umbrella of Norse paganism, be it Asatru, Vanatru,
Right.
all of the different,
Versatru.
yeah,
Rock.
all of those guys, there's only one existing temple,
Yeah, and that's in Iceland.
and it just got built.
Yeah.
So this
Which
is
is
making,
awesome that KCI is now getting Iceland
Yay!
air.
Yeah, field trip. But it is a very new thing, and I don't think that that sort of an attitude belongs here.
Right,
So that's
exactly.
why I love this group.
The community is a pretty closed off thing. Granted, we have gone through a lot in the last year alone, and it's been a nightmare and a mess. And I'm not talking just our kindred, I'm talking the city as a whole.
Yeah. And just the entire religion with all the things in Charlottesville, the Othal rule becoming a actual like hate symbol now.
Yeah.
Things were fighting. Unfortunately. Maybe before too long, get a petition out there, start fighting that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. And that's, so.
But, I mean, we made great strides, but however, the things that happened caused our community not only to divide, but to close itself off to newcomers, because you never know who's going to come in and be like, hey, I'm your friend, but totally backstab you. And that's what we went through this whole year, is everybody just, it wasn't even within the community, it was outside things that came in and caused us all to shut down, essentially. So, it was a rough year for people to try to join the community, and that's for certain.
A lot of bickering online.
It was
visible. Well, I mean, when you get 5 heathens in a room, you have 6 opinions.
Exactly.
What did you think trying to come into the community? Like, how did that feel? What did that work? How did that work?
I mean, it worked. It worked itself out.
Yeah.
And I feel like anything that's supposed to happen, that's like how it happens.
Right.
I was learning after I broke up with this girl. I just took to learning things myself. I got books about Asatru and Vanatruism. I got books on runes. I got books on different practices and rituals, and I just studied. And it wasn't until you noticed the runes on the side of my head for Renaissance Festival that you actually started a thing going, and like a conversation. And it wasn't until that I realized that there is a community and that there are options. And then just talking to you mostly, and once I got introduced into this community, just talking with everybody, it really just it was a niche that I just fit into so well.
That's perfect. Yeah.
So the community's not too hard to find. If you do want to look, it is still the
Casey Mo Heathen Planning is the big one.
Yeah,
the one that everyone's included in.
And then there's
they're all set to either private or closed right now though. Mm-hmm. So
you can go to ad, but you have to be approved.
Yeah,
yeah,
they ask you a couple questions.
We've gone through several different security changes
and then
through the years.
Greater
so
Kansas City Heathen Discussion page is one.
Yeah,
that's the general discussion page one. But
you have to be added to that.
Yeah, you have to be added to that one. But
I'll probably change that. I'm the admin on that. So are you.
Yeah,
it's mostly Midgards. Well. Anyways.
So then we will also be trying to plan a bloat soon. He already had his. So speaking of bloats, then holding our first one with the group, how did that feel?
Empowering.
Okay, awesome.
It made me feel like I am actually a part of this. I can do this. It is it is my heritage, and it is just something that I've been so interested in doing, and finally being able to do it, and working up the courage to do it. It feels good.
Awesome.
Feels great.
And he did a really wonderful job. Everything he wrote and said was right on the nose, and it was really enjoyable.
It was a great Yule celebration. We figured why not bring in the new year with the new member.
So makes sense to me.
So he went first, and then we did our Yule, and I led that one, and it felt weird because I don't do a lot of public speaking. I can do this because I'm looking at my camera and not real people.
Okay, so then for the future then of I would say the practice of heathenism and whatnot, what do you look forward to bringing out in you as a person?
There are the 9 noble virtues,
right? Which
I've more or less always lived by, but to have it set in stone that these are the virtues that not only make a good practitioner, but make a good person.
Right.
That's one of the things I love about this religion is that it brings out the best in people.
Exactly.
It tries to.
And although a lot of Reconstructionists reject the 9 nobles because they were created in the 70s.
It's not technically
it's not
authentic.
technically, but it is something our kindred embraces because it is just good stuff to live by.
Mm-hmm. Right. And you can still get the vibe of that though from Havamal, from the Eddas. The 9 noble virtues weren't just pulled out of thin air by somebody. It's all over the place in the sagas and in the lore. It's
It
littered
took
all
someone
over.
until the 70s to be like, all right, here are the 9 recurring themes, and this is how we should live.
Right. And honestly, going through the Havamal my first time, it honestly is just like umbrella for the 9 noble virtues.
Right.
It's like chicken noodle soup for the 9 noble virtues.
Basically.
Yeah.
Well, the Havamal is amazing because it helps you understand, like, oh, why do I have rage sometimes?
Mm-hmm.
Why am I so angry here? You know?
Am I being a really crappy friend because I don't want to talk to this person anymore?
Exactly. But it lets you understand that a fool in your life is a fool no matter what. And they'll speak and they'll yell, and you can let them do that, but you don't have to waste your time with them. You don't have to feel bad for it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a journey to a friend's home will always seem shorter, whether the road is longer, than if you are going to a enemy's road. That is on
A
the
bad
way.
friend.
Yeah.
Yes.
If it is a bad friend, the journey will seem longer if they are closer.
Oh, a
And
good
shorter
friend, yes.
if a good friend lives even longer.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly. I was trying to get that one
I
right.
think it's stanza 83.
Yeah, you're right. I was like, oh, I had it halfway, and I was like, nope, losing it.
One of my favorites is 127, I think.
We aren't Bible nuts.
No,
I mean,
not at all.
I can
just
get
read
it out. I can get it if we need it.
But we feel when we find stanzas that we really like, things that apply to our lives.
Sure.
Yeah.
Then I can figure out which one I'm talking about.
When it applies to our lives, we kind of remember what stanza it is, so we can recall it that much faster. So that when we're still feeling conflict, we're like, "Hey,
So what about the weapons?
stanza 83, okay."
Okay.
And
So-
Chris, you want to tell our viewers what book this is?
Oh yes, this
and
is
by...
the Poetic Eddas, translated by Carolyn Larrington. It is the Oxford World's Classic Edition. I got it on Amazon. It is an excellent edition. Comes with a very marvelous family tree in the beginning, and
Always
a very
handy.
excellent note section in the back. I do highly, highly recommend this version. Alright, you said about what, 120?
I think it's 127.
All the editions too are sadly different. So.
Right.
We actually spent a study night where we all sat down. I read from my version, he read from this, and we compared. Whereas his was more knowledge-based, mine was more poetic, and it was actually really fun to compare them and read them together side by side. Do you remember like the basis of the weapon one?
It was always have your spear with you, for you know not when an enemy will show up, even at your doorstep, or something, or on the road or at your doorstep, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, that's always been like, or not always, because you've just been doing this, but ever since I heard it, like that was something that always spoke to me. And all of these can be interpreted as literal, like how I keep self-defense weapon in my car at all times, just in case, because it's good advice. But on the same note, you can also take that as mentally.
Yeah.
Like, just keep sharp, keep aware of things, because you don't know people's intentions.
There's specifically a passage in there that flat out says, a wise man walks into a room and remains silent until he knows where his enemies are.
Right. And that's one of the biggest things that me and Roman really speak on when we first started reading the Havamal with each other, was that one there is, keep the weapon on you, yes, go out into the world safe and secure in yourself, but do not be the person that initiates the reason why you have to have the weapon.
Yep.
Yeah.
Don't be the starter of the fight, but be able to end it if it arises in front of you.
Always good advice.
Okay, so then what would you think is the most magical part of the religion? Foreign Sether, I've called it, Assad's True. Whenever we just say the religion, or when we say path, the ancestors' way,
Practice.
there's many ways to call it.
Oh, yeah.
1,000 ways to skin a cat.
Literally.
So the most magical thing for me would be like when I'm by myself holding my own bloats. Like when I go into my backyard, it's been a long day at work, and I just light up a little fire, light the candles on my shrine, and sacrifice what I will to who I will. Just that connection to nature, and just being able to listen to like the trees creaking and the water going by in the creek, and just the wind going through the leaves. It speaks to me. It's calming, and it's something I've never been able to experience before this. I mean, meditation's always been a fantastic thing, but to take it to the next level and to actually connect to who's trying to talk to you, it's beautiful.
It's really, really, really good words. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you also aren't shy of the warrior aspect, of course.
Not at all. Not at all. Not
right.
at all.
Good.
I'm still waiting to kick your ass. It's probably,
Yeah.
you know, whatever.
Maybe we'll have sparring videos on, by the way, too, if we can get everyone together, get the gear and stuff. No one needs to die, but we can certainly get a little bruise.
What armor?
We're not opposed.
What is armor?
So
We're gonna fight the Berserker way.
Our numbers will dwindle. I think what else was I trying to say there. It was the
Like, how has this improved your life?
Oh, okay. Well,
much better way of putting it.
yeah. So I have struggles with anxiety and depression.
Same.
It's something I've lived with since early childhood, but now it's almost as if since I don't have my normal means of self-medication, it's almost like I have sort of like a channel to not stuff it down, but like if I'm at work, right?
Mm-hmm.
I work as a chef and at a very busy restaurant, so it can get chaotic.
Right.
I can get anxiety attacks in the middle of shift, and I just have to keep going. So when I'm asking Thor, hey, like, help me out here a little bit, give me some strength, don't help me, but give me the strength to help myself.
Right.
That mentality, and that's how I look at all of the gods. Like, I don't say, Njord, I need money, help.
Yeah.
I say, Njord, give me the opportunity.
Yes.
When I'm scared, I don't say, Tyr, help me out. Give me the courage to do this myself.
Yeah.
And that, I think, is incredibly empowering.
It teaches you that you have all the strength you need. You just have to. They are the key to unlock those parts of you that we've forgotten about.
Exactly.
Like you said, listening to the trees and the animals and stuff. Once you get back to this primal force, it gets back to you in a way. You and Mother Nature and the sky and everything. You just feel it. You hear it. It's
Right.
a beautiful experience.
Oh, it absolutely is. And, on top of that, not even talking about the gods, there is no problem that all of my ancestors behind me can't help me with.
Exactly.
It's that just combined strength that I find comfort in.
Exactly. And they all the thousands of years and years of strong men and women, they're all there, and they're all there to be asked to be talked to. Mm-hmm. That subconscious isn't just you, if you think about it. It's almost like that's your backup drive from all of the family before you.
Oh, absolutely.
All the things they learn, like, oh, hey, don't put your hand over the hot fire. Oh, don't do this. You learn that when you're young, and then you have all this just subconscious back there, like, oh, hey, that's really bright. Looks like it probably hurt me. Should stay away from that.
Exactly.
So then,
Yes.
yeah.
Drink break.
Drink break.
Question anyway. I think the next one.
And while Chris is thinking, I thought we should take a chance to explain that we do, as a kindred, believe in magic. While a lot of other kindreds do reject the notion of magic existing and being something that is very too mystical for
womanly.
That too.
Yeah.
We are
part of our...
we are a group that not only do we believe in equality to the point that we don't have a clear leader.
Yeah.
Some days it's me, some days it's Chris, some days it's Mike, some days it's Roman. It rotates who's taking charge that day.
Yeah, it's basically whoever messages first.
Yeah, basically whoever comes up with the thing to do.
Yep.
And that's basically what happens. But we do believe in magic. We do believe in all this stuff. We've experienced way too much to deny that this is real. We've done too much to deny this is real. So it's...
We don't move boulders with our mind.
No.
But
we are not Jedi.
We do understand that the runes can be read for divination to the point where you have the ability to see the future in a sense, or at least get an aspect of what you might need to think about going into the future.
Yes.
To not fall flat on your face.
Right.
Looking into, a fire when you're trying to speak with Logi, or,
and
offering...
that was Logi with a G, not a K.
Yes. Which is in our next video.
Yes.
Yeah. Or if you go out and you leave Meath for Scalthi and Hoth and mystically, the next week, we get all this snow.
Sorry, by the way.
Yeah. I'm not.
I've definitely made a connection with Scaldi because I have always loved the cold, and when I'm at home and I'm by myself and, I'm just thinking, I'm going to talk to someone. I'll just go out, stand outside in the snow with my wolf, and I'll just chill, listen.
Nice.
It's yeah.
All right, so then I guess closing question, then a good one. So, looking into the future, what would you like to bring to the religion? What would you like to put on the map?
Well, I've always, not always, but I have seen so far that there seems to be a focus on the Asir.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic, agree with it. They are the gods, but there is another half of the gods,
right?
The Vanir, who I almost feel more of a connection to.
Same.
What's up? That primal, earthly, connected force that drives.
Well, and that is the difference between them, though. Is the Vanir are earth gods, and the Asir are more air and
storms. And
Asir are the sky gods, and the Vanir are the earth gods.
Yeah. So I would like to try and bring some more of a focus towards that, because some of the other kindreds I've talked to, it's all like Asir, Odin, Thor,
with a smidge of like Freya or Frey.
And those are the only ones that I've ever seen.
No Njord.
No Njord, no Skaldi. I think like the only time that I've ever seen a particular other kindred mention either of those.
Is that the son of Freyr?
Ur.
God of the bow and hunt?
Yeah,
skis.
Yeah, and skis.
Yeah. Fun guy.
Down the mountain.
And games in general, honestly.
Yep. Yeah.
Alright, but that's a very amenable thing to do. Because, that's one thing. Again, we are the well. We are here for knowledge. We are here to sustain and to nourish the world around us, Midgard itself.
Mm-hmm.
So, to have experts in each field and where we all study and we all learn and we all trade this knowledge and then share it with you.
Yes.
You're welcome.
Thank you for
enjoying this clusterfuck. Because
well put.
We don't script anything because that's just not the people we are.
We really aren't. We can't. Like, I thought about bringing my notes with me tonight, and I was like, I'm gonna wing it because there's just no way that I'm gonna remember to look at them. And
I know you way.
Shut up.
All right,
that stays in the video.
You all have an amazing rest
the thing that you wanted to say to people at the end of every video. Do you remember?
No.
I know the way.
Thank you
cut.
Thank you for drinking from the well.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
That is a good one.
He thought of it. Anyways, we're gonna finally close this video, and we're gonna see how much of it we're gonna have to cut. So thank you
for drinking from the well.